GRC. Had to switch to the guns out. What's up, guys? It's your boy GRC. Bink. This is Crypto in the Morning. I look like a disaster because I was drinking like a hooligan all night. But I'm locked and loaded, guys. We have Pulse Academy coming on for roughly 30 minutes. We're going to do an AMA with them today. Sam's looked into Pulse Academy. I've looked into Pulse Academy. No, I have not looked into Pulse Academy yet. They did a Spaces yesterday. You know, I'm starting to run into a tiny bit of an issue where I'm covering a lot. You know, the last week or so, I've been covering a lot of stuff that really had no real physical merit in the moment, if that makes sense. And it does not mean I am not an authority. I just work here. You know what I mean? Like, how many things can I mention that don't exist before I'm just touching my own? You know what I mean? Like, I'm just sitting in my room by myself. Like, it's like having an idea and not telling it to anyone. It's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, what is it? Where is it? Who are you? Why do you want money from me? Do you exist? Do you have a voice changer? Do you have this? Do you have that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm learning all these things at such rapid paces. It's just like the transparency part, the sacrifice part, we're going to have to start seeing more, in my opinion. Like, and I know for me, when I announce whatever the fuck that I'm going to announce in the future, and at whatever point, if that ever happens, I will not let people have holes in that. And for the best that I can, of course, everyone will say shit, but present something, have the money to do it, have succeeded already, and be doing it because you want to change the world. Me and Sam don't want to create a crypto because, you know, me and Sam could just be fucking bodybuilding supplement pushers, dude. If you really want us to be honest, dude, we could triple down on that. We would hate it. We would hate it. I mean, we love to talk and just be communicative and have our faces out here. I just don't know where I'm going with this anymore, guys, but I'm got to be a little more detailed with how I go through some of these projects, because as we get more into the bear market, let's be honest, the risk gets higher. Every USDC that you lose when there's a 10x, like just to get to the brink, like Sam said it yesterday, like a 16x on Bitcoin. And I was just like, damn. Like, and I know, I mean, I've thought about that before. Guys, every dollar, $16. I mean, and I think about things like this. I'm a little bit neurotic. I'm a little bit egotistical. I want to make sure my future's set up so I don't get embarrassed. And like, you know, I want to be happy and shit. But so it's just, we have to start thinking like protecting the people in the bear market, along with having fun, Pokegon, all the streams, you know, this, that, and the other, the posting. We got to be serious here. We got to be paying attention. I invited Pulse Academy on. He actually reached out to me. He's going to be coming on here. I said 30-minute AMA. Sam did some research. We're going to invite Sam in, see how he's doing this morning. Hope everyone had a safe 4th of July. And what a great day, man. Back to the week. Good stuff, guys.
You already know what time it is.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making a stake. Got me some hydro, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim ready to set me to show you the way.
D5 Pro.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Crypto in the morning.
Waiting on phone.
Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning.
Ready to take notes.
Yo, what is up? I was reading something as we went through this. We got some good stuff coming up for you guys today. I actually did a deep dive or read through their website as well as their white paper for Pulse Academy. Super interesting. I do like the mission of changing education. Right? Most of you guys have gone through and went to school and then went to college. I have a different experience because I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled my entire life, right? K through 12, kindergarten, 12th grade. And when you get to school, you realize, like college, right? You realize what a joke college is. Like I have an MBA and I didn't even buy books for the vast majority of the time I was in my MBA program, supposedly a top 25 school, University of Rochester, for their finance program and accounting, right? And you don't even need books, and everybody's like, oh, school's so hard, this, that, and the other thing. Well, I think the education system, we can all agree on, is utterly broken. There is a gigantic system that wastes or is spending around $1 trillion a year in the education system here in the United States. That the ROI on that is pretty effing low, if not negative. And when there's projects coming out there that are trying to change this narrative, right? Trying to change the education system, I think that's a good thing. Now, there was something that you're muted.
I forgot to post this, dude. I fucked up. Give me a second, guys. Can I erase the Facebook? Hey, Bullish, can I erase the Facebook one and add the YouTube one?
Yeah, click it and remove.
Okay, remove Facebook.
You should be able to add another one.
It might not let you because we're live already, but you can try.
I think it is.
Yeah, it should let you go.
Hey, I'm sorry about that, guys. That's fucked up by me. Damn.
And you guys should go through and take a second and press the.
Yeah, real quick, since I just did that, that's fucked up. Oh, it's only been 17 minutes. That's not the worst in the world. Guys, you know that fucks me up. Give me 1 second. Whoopsie. That's a whoopsie, guys.
They don't even know what happened, probably. So
go ahead. Everyone was in my DMs like your stream's not. They're like,
so basically what happened is there's buttons in the back end that we see that you guys are not able to see. And it's like, hey, you're going to be going live on StreamYard. Where would you like this stream to be broadcast? So we've got Facebook, Sam's channel, Twitter, and one other place that is supposed to be GRC's channel, and just hadn't hit that button. So welcome to anybody who is watching on GRC's channel.
Hey, I'm going to let you continue to talk for a second and introduce. Maybe there's some people in here that don't know what we're talking about today. Sure, what kind of videos you've come out with lately. Guys, you know we're here every day at 11 a.m. Sam Stoll. I'm going to just go to the back end and throw some advertisements out, wait for the guy, give me about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yes. So go ahead. I did the video on the Pulse Academy. One of the things that I liked about them was that they're trying to implement crypto with education. I think that is an intelligent thing to do because we know this system, as I was mentioning, in education is a utter failure, right? It was developed in a time where the education system needed workers, right? It needed employees. So that is why it was actually put in place. Now, in another world, in another time, the business model that spends around $1 trillion a year on education here in the United States, probably much higher than that globally, is broken. What happens to broken business models when the United States government isn't fucking subsidizing them? They die and they go away. And the education system as a whole, this broken business model, hasn't died yet because the government is going through and subsidizing them, right? You can get student loans for $100 plus, $200 plus $1,000, even if you're a fucking bozo and has no clue about life. And yet, if you want to go start a business and get a loan for your business for $200K, that is going to be so much more challenging to do than go getting 200 grand of student loans, where One of those you can get rid of. One of those you can completely abolish through bankruptcy and get rid of. And depending on how you structure it, you might not even tremendously impact your personal, depending on how it's done, right? But the student loans, you cannot get rid of at all. So you have this lingering debt, this debt that's over people's heads. What does it do? If you need to do something, and I was like, cool, why don't you go through, clean your entire house, clean out your garage, mow your lawn, and fix that hole in the wall or whatever it is that you needed to do. And you're like, okay, cool. And I was like, yeah, but you got to wear this 60-pound bag on your back while doing that. There are so many people that are wearing the 60-pound bag, metaphorically speaking, for their student loans that they are not able to actually make progress, right? How is it easier to be creative and resourceful when you are carrying around all this debt for student loans? By the way,
it's impossible, Sam. It's impossible when the wages that they're giving you. We can just calculate it. It's simple because I have people in my life, and every week I'm dollar cost averaging into cryptocurrency, and they have better jobs or whatever you want to call it, a more steady paycheck, and they don't do any in cryptocurrency because one, I made sure the rest of my premium was away, overhead gone, because I'm smart and I don't buy a bunch of bullshit. And so I taught myself how to not buy bullshit because I certainly most definitely used to buy bullshit. And then they're paying these massively compounding student loans that are actually getting wrecked. While you're getting wrecked by inflation at your job, you haven't gotten a raise at, while you're paying for food that you're getting absolutely wrecked on.
That's me.
Yeah.
I've got 120.
Are you kidding me?
$120,000 of student loans.
Still today?
Yep.
So just talk about the reality, because I have not experienced this and I've heard it around the block. So the reality is that student loans are one of the biggest scams in the history of mankind in the United States.
Yes. Let's
see. Is that true?
I have
you did not know what you know now about compounding loans and student loans when you took that loan. You just signed the shit because you were going to school and you thought everyone would somewhat keep you in the right direction. You did not think people would absolutely lead you astray.
Being homeschooled, I had the story that I was homeschooled, right, my whole life. So I had the idea that school, right, that you were learning stuff in school that was important. You were learning stuff. You would tell me about stuff. Friends would tell me about things in school that they would learn, and I had no idea what these things were that they were talking about. So mentally, for myself at the moment, I thought I was behind. So I thought school was the way out, right? I thought school was the solution. I didn't know. I didn't have the exposure to other people that you would have or other people have by being in school. So I went and got a 2-year degree because I don't have a diploma, right? So when I got a 2-year degree, then a 4-year degree, then an MBA, and as I'm going through this process, I said this before while you were sharing the video, like in my MBA, which if you look it up is ranked in the top 25 schools in the world for their finance program. I didn't even fucking buy books. Like it's a joke. And yet you're charging all of this money to do this. Now, given, that I like the details, all that kind of thing, there's ways to, not pay
easy
legally. and not affect your credit and
that's what the Gym Rat Crypto Telegram group is all about. Okay, so get into the Gym Rat Crypto Telegram group, smash all the links below if you want all that sorts of alpha. We're gonna have to take that off the interweb with the Zuckerberg or whatever. I heard something about, there's this funny thing that popped up about Zuckerberg today. He was getting some press. Here, let me read it while I'm just sitting here. Mark Zuckerberg just told Facebook employees to quit. He missed the most important point in a call with employees. Facebook founder tried to rally the troops.
Wait, say it again. What was it?
The exact title. I'm reading word for word on the INC. I want to sound stupid, but it's some financial thing. Mark Zuckerberg just told Facebook employees to quit. He missed the most important point in a call with employees. Facebook's founder tried to rally the troops. Seemed like he was trying to rally the troops, and his point kind of failed, and everyone just assumed he was telling them to quit.
But that's so true. It's so accurate, though. We're gonna just have. We're going through this like great. The great resignation is like the slang that's
Just
out
a
there.
great no one has a job.
But who needs a fucking job?
Exactly.
You can make money in 1,000 different ways online.
You can provide more value from your house in 3.5 hours than you can the whole day at work if you do things properly. And we're not saying do what we do. We're talking about like normal ass value, like bullshit sucks to be you value, which is nothing generally. It's just counting someone else's dollar bills for them and like talking to another person about something that somebody else is telling you to do. And that's okay. I'm not fucking shitting on any of that. I'm just saying like value, change the world. Minimal effort. When I'm speaking to you guys from this point, talking about crypto, minimal effort. This is minimal effort. This isn't hard for me to do. If I was to get my somebody that I knew that plays video games in the basement all day, never talks to people to do this, it would be the most excruciatingly hard process for them to do in their history of their lives. I don't even care. That person would have a nightmare doing this. So why don't I stay in my fucking lane and learn and project my message while I can get the satisfaction out of my life on my feet. Like that's for me to deal with. But what am I going to present to you? The most efficient value proposition for me is to be here talking to you guys and to connect people and to move this thing around. I know myself. And that's why I injected myself this way. But there's a different way. It's just like I found out I quit my job. I became a value nuke. Like I just became like a
There's the great resignation of like people quitting is also on the contrary, like so it's a seesaw. Everything you have one effect this direction, you're going to have some other type of effect, right, related to that. So this great resignation, as it's been labeled, is also a great awakening, right, of what you are describing. How many times you have had jobs, right? I have had plenty of jobs where I didn't do much of fucking anything.
Shit, and I thought everyone else was doing shit. And I was telling myself in the house, I was like, you're the laziest guy in the world. I would look myself in the mirror at home and say, you're really a piece of shit. You don't do shit at this job for these people that don't care about you, wouldn't care if you were dead. And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, that makes a lot of fucking sense because I don't give a shit about these people. And why would I? You know what I mean? And and that's just me. Like some people have like different values, like as they move through the world. Like the way that I was like, you're a man. I've never met you before. Why the fuck should I listen to you? That's how I kind of was. And that's why I did what I did. You know what I mean? I just think it's important that people just, if you're not happy, if you're fucking happy doing whatever, but if like my whole life was filled with longing for more, my whole life, I just was like, dude, if this is it, wow, what a bummer. I felt that way. I was like,
oh, I agree.
I was like, if this is just about getting hot girls, like what a bummer. Like
I'm going through that 50 hours a week of just like, wow, I'm barely even slightly marginally trying like for 7 minutes a day to like execute. And if this is how people live their life, what this is so empty.
And
like,
I just was one of the first people to just say, I just didn't want to do it anymore. They were like, do you have enough money to quit your job? I said, no. I was like, I don't care. But I didn't have kids. Again, if you have fucking kids and shit, like don't play around with house money or you're a dickhead. Guys, real quick, as I transition Pulse Academy on, he's here in the flesh or in the digital flesh. And we are going to talk about education. This topic in particular means a lot to me because I was not very educated from the actual education system because I was very much just like a wild kid. I didn't really pay attention in school. But I picked up my education around 24 years old, started doing paid courses on YouTube. I started doing paid courses on YouTube, and that's where I got to where I'm at. Probably like 4 or 5 paid courses, $800. I probably spent like $5,000 total, I would say, over all this stuff. And I learned just about as intimate, valuable information. Of course, I was led astray on a few occasions, of course, but I negated 4 to 7 years of college and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I definitely want to get Pulse Academy on here too to learn more. But I took a course for $5,000. After I quit working at the bank, I was like, okay, cool. I've got a couple years of savings. What do I do? Right? Like, where am I going to go? And I started a wholesaling business in real estate, and I took a $5,000 course in this, and it slightly put me off to that because it was so not valuable.
Yeah, but my whole thing about paid courses is, how I do. I'm like, I want you here. I'm going to ask you whatever the fuck I want. Like, I will give you whatever amount of money. You stand right there. I'm going to ask you questions until you vomit and you like me because you'll be like, this kid's passionate. And that's how it always works. And, you know, a lot of the people in the paid groups, they just stay down below, don't say a damn thing, and they get wrecked. But I ask 175 questions. Anyway, we'll start this, guys.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on.
What's good, brother?
Pulse Academy, dude. It's good to see a face in here, baby. I didn't know
It's
if you were
an
going to be
honor. It really
faceless,
is.
facer. This is great, dude. It's sweet.
Yeah, I loved hearing you guys talk about education and employment. You hit it right on the head. There's a lot of people that are just stuck in these dead-end jobs that they hate, and they put in just a few hours of productivity just to spend 7 hours doing nothing dead, and it kills the brain. When you're doing something that you don't enjoy, it literally rots your mind.
Are you in an industry where
helping.
you had to transition? Have you transitioned out of whatever industry you were in before, or is there a job that you were at for a long period of time that you had dissatisfaction with?
Yeah, I come from a construction management background, actually. And so I currently still work for a large general contractor, doing airports and stadiums and large high rise, that kind of stuff.
That's dope.
Do you enjoy it?
Do you enjoy it?
I do,
Yeah.
but there's other things that I enjoy more. I
Of
enjoy the
course.
challenge. I enjoy putting together a project and making sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. But I've always considered myself a creator, which is actually why I started Pulse Academy originally as a content creation channel on TikTok. So I've been doing that for about 6 months or so.
Let's back it up for a second, because I kind of shit the bed on introducing you, and I'm going to give you a better
Let's
intro.
get a little story.
Me and Pulse Academy have not met. Sam and Pulse Academy have not met. Sam has done prior research. I have not, just because I just self-admittedly have not. You were in a Twitter space yesterday, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was in the Twitter spaces this morning. There were some hardball questions. Everyone was getting their questions in there. You know, it was good. It was the classic, you know. So how did that – I don't want to ask how that went, but I got some conjecture from that, so I have some questions for you later. But
Sure.
What is your introduction with crypto, with the community? How did you get involved? And then move into like how did you create a project, etc.
Sure. Well, I've been in crypto for about 2 years now, so I guess I still consider myself pretty green. I do have a very experienced team that I'm working with, though, and I definitely rely on them for a lot of the more technical aspects. I discovered Hex at the beginning of 2021. Actually, Hex really helped improve my life. Before that, so a little background on me. I, once upon a time, was homeless. And listening to you talk, Jim Rat, about you having a little bit of a rockier past, I empathize with that so much. I didn't have any role models in my life growing up. I had to learn everything myself. And that's part of the inspiration of this whole project, is that we want people to have access to information that's going to improve their lives, especially people that don't have role models in their lives. There's a lot of us that wander aimlessly. So
and some people don't, the role models that they have are not, like I had some role models potentially in my life that I could have taken stuff from, but they weren't like taught to be role models either. They were working, doing their own thing. Like I had to just pick and choose because the world was changing at such a rate. And I was smart. I was a smart little bugger. I was paying attention. I knew the world was changing at such a rate that no one was keeping up, because I could see my father. He's a smart man. He's makes a lot of money. And I could see, I said, all this stuff's happening and he can't see it. He's still very successful, but I could just see things were moving too fast. And I was like, who do I believe? Nobody knows. It was almost like a nobody knows thing. I kind of figured out, I was like, who do I find that knows? I found Sam and I was just like, please talk to me. Like I literally, because I never felt like I had someone that was really just going to be like, dude, I did the research and I want to help you. Sorry for that side tangent, by the way.
No, I mean, you're blessed to have found someone to take you under their wing. Not everyone is so fortunate. But to continue, I discovered Hex, and it actually helped me afford a property. So that was awesome.
Wow. Amazing.
Oh, and I think we lost a little bit of audio here. I'm glad that he came on with his face.
Hey, I'm going to drop you down for 1 second. Your audio was perfect until it just went out. So I'm just going to put you down for 1 second, wait for you to lag it. And sometimes if you come back in and come back out, it works a little better. But your audio, no, you're back.
Okay. As soon as Pulse Chain was announced.
Oh, dang. We lost you again.
Jump off here. Just jump off here. No worries.
I still get nervous. But then I just saw all these wonderful people coming up in the space, and you guys actually were a big inspiration for me as well. I was like, these guys, they jumped right in and they just started running. I can do it too. So I got on TikTok. It was a little bit of an easier transition for someone that hadn't done content before. And I just fell in love with it. And I fell in love with the community. The more I dug into it, the more I realized that these are the people that I fuck with, you know? And crypto, as we all know, it really is one of the few things that has the power to set people free, but it needs to be utilized properly. Right now, it's more about making quick money, and that's great. That's making money is awesome. It helps set people free, but there's more that needs to be done. And so that's why Pulse Academy was created.
Every industry needs to be done. Again, let's be real.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no customer service anymore. So why are we using companies that are centralized? You know what I mean? Word centralized, not the best word, but you know,
but it's true. But it's true. Like,
we're using bad tech, slow tech, inefficient tech, and then 10 middlemen, and then no customer service. That is what I'm dealing with.
And paying too high prices.
Yeah, well, you're just paying whatever they want. Like if there's a war,
No, that's right.
they just say double the price. Fuck it.
So we're trying to break through that. Of course, this is a very lofty goal, and it's going to take incremental steps. Our plan is to roll out a learn to earn application where people can go take classes both for free and get paid. And then we also do plan on having sort of, I don't want to call it master's classes, but where people who have professional expertise can bring it to the table and charge what they believe is fair. But we think that in the end, this will end up saving a lot of money on education. In 2021 alone, $124 billion was set aside by the federal government, and an additional $357 billion was spent by the states just in 2021, just on education. So that's $481 billion, nearly $500 billion in this market that's waiting to find a new avenue to help people. But if we just keep on with the way things are going, it's not going to work. We need something new, and that's what we're trying to accomplish.
And we are that early, guys. Like, if you don't think we're that early, like, it's that early. Like, it's that early.
And the project is early. I'll say right off the bat, this kind of got ushered in a little quicker than we had anticipated. I was reaching out to different people in the community saying, hey, we got this thing we're putting together. We're excited about it. We'd like some feedback to possibly improve, or anyone that is interested in joining the team. We're welcoming any community leaders to be a part of this. We want to share equal control with the community. This isn't something where we're sitting on some crow's nest planning to overtake education. We want it to belong to everybody. And so we have an open invitation for community leaders to get fully involved in what we're doing.
No, okay, yes. No, I totally believe that. Thank you for being transparent. Your face is here. We're going to have some questions for you now, probably.
Sure.
I don't know what we're dealing on.
So a lot of people who are watching are not going to know what Pulse Academy is, or like kind of the idea. The idea is, right, to change the education system that is fucking broken, right? But like how, you said, pay to earn, and then
let me start it off just for the people that maybe even missed like what we're. So we have Pulse Academy here. We wanted to get to know, on this channel, we like to get to know who they are, because it does make a difference in crypto. It really does. It makes you got to pay attention where people are, look around, pay attention. And then we'll get into, there's like 2 layers to it, right? You want to see that part. Now we're going to get into the nuts and bolts. Pulse Academy. What is Pulse Academy? What is the service? What is what is provided, and what's available now, and what's on the roadmap for the future?
Okay, so there's 3 stages to this. Number 1, our first stage is basically going to be the ability to consume educational material for free, to get paid for it through an advertising program that we are leveraging. Imagine it kind of like YouTube and LinkedIn put together, but you get paid to take the classes. And there are other classes, like I mentioned before, which are pay to take that you can choose to interact with as well. And then we want people to be able to create their own lessons. So if they have something they can bring to the community, they can create their own class or own lessons. And then companies can choose to monetize that if they like. Say I'm Colgate and I want to sell toothpaste, or maybe I want to get people into my organization. I might sponsor a video on hygiene, or say we actually have a company who is a gold-backed security token that is interested in working with us for in the future when we provide payroll services, and that's like step 5. So here's the whole timeline. We roll out project 1, where you can absorb content, you can create content, and you can earn money to do it. Step 2 is when we integrate employment services. So the idea is that every time you take a class, you get a certificate, an NFT certificate. We believe that the future of blockchain is tokenizing IP, is being able to show a verifiable record of your accomplishments. And so we're getting it kicked off with education. You'll be able to go on, take classes that give you real world skills, and then have a certificate on the blockchain that tells that you can use as proof that you've learned these skills.
And again, we already have a certificate, guys. It's just on their database, and it just does shit for them, and it's extremely centralized.
Not very valuable.
Like everyone, if I create, let's say I took a $20,000 course that was the hardest fucking, let's say 10 years from now, there was this course that was just like the hardest course. People wouldn't even dare take it unless they like wanted to go all in on it. And then you got a badge for that.
Sure.
And then everyone in the world, everyone would know that I finished that, undoubtedly finished that with the parameters of everyone being the same parameters.
And then
Pretty
comes in
powerful
relationships with companies. In order to really leverage these accomplishments, you have to have them valued by organizations that are going to want to hire you or have your services. So we are partnering with different companies to provide employment services. We're having them basically choose out different courses or working with them to create courses that would fast track people for employment in those sectors. We're also working with
have you thought about the curriculum? Or obviously this is probably going really far into the weeds, but say like learning Solidity. I think I remember seeing something maybe a year ago where like somebody, if you know how to code in Solidity, that's like you can get offers for $400,000 or $500,000. Today it's come down some because there's a lot of distress in the crypto space, right? So it's more in like the couple $100,000. But is it going to be like, hey, you can come here, take a free class to learn how to learn the basics of coding with Solidity. When you're done, you have the certification, right, so to speak, to show that you actually have the skills to do this. And then there's plenty of Web3 type companies who would be like, oh yeah, that's freaking awesome.
Exactly. There's so much opportunity here, and there's even more opportunity moving forward. So say in the future, we're helping provide people with jobs. We're acting sort of as an employment company, bringing in new personnel to organizations that need it, and which also, by the way, brings in revenue for our organization as well. But from that point, it's just a hop, skip, and a jump to providing payroll services. So now you're able to integrate your payroll directly into the blockchain. And now things really start changing. Now you can start partnering with these companies that you're providing employment for. Now you can start selling their services for them, their products for them. And before you know it, you have a situation where you have the job of your dreams that you found through Pulse Academy that you now can put your payment directly into the blockchain, and you can use it how you wish. Have your own keys, be control of your own money. You can completely remove from the system. And that is ultimately the end goal here, is planting the seed to create something that could eventually completely free people from the legacy system. That's the end goal.
Are you, this is awesome, by the way. Are you envisioning this, right? Like the piece of paper that you get from a university, or more so I have something called a CFA, right? So people think it's cool and it's challenging to get, right? So they're like, oh, Sam has a CFA, and they think that's cool, right? More the designation type of thing, like the Pulse Academy courses that you've taken.
Consensus thing too. Like, I don't even know what that is, but I would be like,
yeah, people think, yeah, exactly.
If you read it in your thing, it'd be like, better than that, that's good. Like, smart. He did it. Something. Nobody does anything. This man did something. That was hard.
And we're not trying to completely replace these programs. We're supporting them by bringing them to people in an easier to access format. For example, like I said, I come from a construction background, and in that world, OSHA is a very big thing. And it's a pain in the ass, but it's
the fact that they make you wear gloves while you're putting in nuts and bolts on top of a tower. freezing cold. I'm like, they'd
Right.
watch you with binoculars, make sure you not take your gloves off.
You should have been around during the COVID part. You got to wear a mask up in a hot space.
Oh, I was out before that, bro. Thank God, bro. I was working
man,
in
it was
like
terrible.
train tunnels too. I was doing a lot of train tunnel cell tower work, so I would be drilling holes like all the way down. It's just like smoke and fucking smog and like death down there for like 10 hours.
You were about to say, go ahead. You weren't trying to necessarily replace. Thank you.
Right. So the idea here is working with these organizations that require these certifications and offering them either partially or completely through the application. Now we know that OSHA, it costs what, 50, maybe 350, depending on where you're at in order to get your OSHA certification. You take the class and then you have to pay the fee. They want their pound of flesh. So we're not trying to take that away from them. We would partner with them and make sure that any certification that we did have on our application that claimed to have those types of benefits would in fact have those benefits. We are not trying to say, oh, we're replacing OSHA. We want to work with OSHA. We want to work with different organizations to bring them the value that they need, not supersede them, at least for the time being.
So question on this, right? Because so I've had many different jobs because I didn't feel fulfilled. That wasn't my own fault, right? For not focusing on myself, right? But the point is that I've had a fuckload of different jobs that I've switched every couple of years for, 15 years until I started doing my own thing. And it's like, oh, well, this is so much better. But there's so many different organizations that have training, right? That is courses and it is education, one way of looking at it, but it is trash, right? There's lots of companies that provide education. There's trash, right? How, do I want to learn how to do project management and construction from somebody that's actually doing the job, or maybe somebody like GRC who's like, hey, I can tell you about this shit, but I've never done it in my entire fucking life, right? And the current system is the latter, right? It's the people who don't actually do the shit trying to tell people how to do the shit that they don't fucking do. So how do you plan to overcome that? Because that's going to be a big, you know what I mean? Yes, educational.
There's two ways. Awesome. There's two main ways. Eventually, once we have enough data and people interact with the system long enough, you'll be able to go into their history and into their NFT certificate history and actually see what they know, what they've learned. If once the program is going long enough, our idea is that people who would become creators would first be familiar with the system. They'd be taking courses, they'd be engaging with it, and then you would have a record of that to give them some sort of credibility. Also, looking into the creator themselves, creators would have to create profiles and they will have to KYC in order to claim their tokens. So there will be a degree of exposure for each creator. We also wanted them to be able to link to their other accounts, their YouTube. There will be ways to verify that somebody, has some sort of reputation. It's like Reddit. If some guy is on Reddit and he has a 0 score, he just got on, you're going to take his opinion with a grain of salt. That's just how it is. Now, if this person has an official count that's represented by a company that you know and trust, well, you're probably going to put more weight behind that. So that's essentially what we're thinking right now.
So what a lot of this stuff is just and I know this is probably the most uncomfortable part for you to mention and talk about is the future, right? People are just going to poke holes in you because they're going to say you're just taking money from people. I mean, they're all, and that would be whether you were Jesus Christ level, God mode, or just the scum of the earth. It just is what it is. So
everyone points fingers in this space.
Right. And that's important to know. You also know that most things that are complicated tend to fail. Not you, the stuff that you've done in particular.
Oh, absolutely.
In general on the blockchain, so you're going after something big. Exactly. So guys, remember, he has not mentioned where. I ain't never sent any money or done anything, or I don't know exactly. I still am learning about this as we go. So the thing people are going to worry about is that you're extracting value from an already good system in a way that you haven't necessarily proved it, nor do you have the structure of what you're doing yet. So what do you say to that? In general?
Our greatest weakness and strength is both that we are new. This is unpioneered territory, and Just like when people went out to discover new countries, new lands, there's a tremendous amount of risk, but there's also a tremendous amount of payoff. And the fact of the matter is, and I'll say fact, we need this, or at least something like this. And if we don't make an attempt, then what else are we doing, right? Yes, it's risky, but it has to be done in order to save our society. So here we are trying to make our
why are you this way? I mean, and I'm this way too. So we're talking to the same, you know, I'm a very passionate person. But why are you this way? When did you decide? Because you made a decision long ago. You've been on a journey and you decided like this isn't all going to be about me being comfortable.
Right.
And because that's what it's all about. You decided, whether this is about any other occupation, you said, I don't want to be comfortable moving forward.
Well, I've never been one for comfort myself. Like I said, I was homeless once upon a time, and I chose the construction industry. So obviously, I'm ready to put in the hard work. But why this is so passionate to me is like I said, I didn't have a role model growing up. I'm imagining this app being used for not only the adult trying to upskill and get into a better career, but for the 14-year-old kid who has a shitty father, no one in his life to tell him how to do something. He wants to be an electrical engineer. Like that was me once upon a time. And that's my biggest cause. I actually started an organization once upon a time called American Youth Advancement Group, whose purpose was to help. I did this in college, and the purpose was to help other homeless kids get access to books or to funding or to food or to shelter. So this really has been my cause my entire life. And so I'm imagining a young person being able to go on this app and say, hey, I want to be an electrical engineer. How do I do that? And there will be actually career paths inside the app itself where you can choose a career, say electrical engineer, and it will show you a step-by-step guide on how to go and achieve that. It'll give you classes to show you the basics. It'll get you prepared. And let's say, like an electrical engineer, it requires a college education to actually do. Every time that you finish a course, you'll be put in a lottery for a scholarship. So something that I haven't mentioned is we would like this organization to run as a 501c3. So the idea here is not to make money. The idea here is to accomplish something. Now, myself, I do plan if and when this really takes off to become a full-time salaried of the organization. So that's my payoff. But for right now, this is a labor of love. There is no one that's receiving any compensation on the team. We're all working pro bono as of this time. And we are going through fundraising exercises with a couple people in the community who have decided to become angel investors and help get us kicked off. And that's where we are right now.
So basically, you're just spreading awareness at this point.
Yeah, we're spreading awareness and we're building out the application. We have some devs on our team, but they are just starting out, so there is a little bit catching up to do, and having them really understand the roadmap of where we're going with all of this. Like I said, we do have an open invitation for other people that might want to get involved. We would like to have people from the community on this as much as possible, so that way it truly is a community project. In the future, we would like to implement a DAO. That's going to be on the roadmap as well, where part of the funds are used to do whatever good works the DAO decides upon. And the other area, it's called the Good Works Fund is what we call it, the extra philanthropy. I always mess this word up. The extra money that's meant for good works goes into this fund, and then we split it between the DAO decides what half of it goes to, and the other half goes to the scholarships.
As you bring this project, anything that you bring, you can bring on this show. Anything that you have to show us, you could bring on this show. You know, we're critical on this show. We're critical because we're in a bear market. Basically.
I love it.
When we're in a bull market, it's all about safety in crypto. Bull market, bear market. People lose their shit and no idea what they're doing, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like I just want education to me. Like that's what I'm doing. I've decided to go out of my way, not out of my way, but in my best interest and with my best skills. Teach people the reality of crypto as I see it, because I just find that most people can't really break through reality in any subject a lot of the times. And I've done it with other subjects. I've broken through where I was like, holy shit, this is not the same thing that I remember signing up for. You know what I mean? And I saw it all the way through. And as you come up with new stuff on this project, like bring it on here, talk to us. We can be friends. It's going to be hard for us to shill any like direct.
Yeah, don't need it.
No, and I know you don't. I'm just talking to the audience too. They give me a lot of heat, believe it or not. So just know, guys, like I'm learning. I'm a young man. I'm investing. I don't have it all figured out. But I do have a DCA into Hex every single time I have extra money for right now with me. And that's because of what we're at in the market too. So just know, guys, protect yourselves. We could be looking at some hard times for all of us. So just make sure you're working on your life. Work on your life, learn, focus on as much as you can. And don't be FOMO-y. Like just learn. Like this guy, he's here. He's alive. His heart's beating. He has to go to bed, wake up, and deal with all this. He's not just sitting here fucking, you know.
But there's also honest enough to come on with your
exactly.
face.
No, I was really excited to. A little bit nervous, I have to admit. Yeah, and I really appreciate you guys having me on. I'm happy to come back, talk about any new developments. And
please,
I mean, I want to be friends. I'd be happy if you guys have more information that, or even issues that you guys ever find that we could work on. We're trying to make this project as best as we can.
We'll cover it. We'll cover it. Like I'm going to watch you like a hawk, you guys, and it's not you as a person, obviously.
No, please. I'd be flattered if you did.
And I think that's important. I have to start doing it. There's a few projects, guys, in the comments. Don't you get it twisted. I'm paying attention. And if I see one thing, I will bring it up. I'm not going to I don't know that it, I still, again, there's nuance to everything. But I'm going to bring shit up if I see it. I'm not just going to be like, oh, I hope this doesn't bother this guy. I don't know the guy. So, I hope that we can meet. Hey, if you're at the golf tournament, I'll be there.
Yeah, me and my buddy really wanted to catch on that. We're definitely going to be at PulseCon, so we'll see.
Oh, cool. Then I'll see you there, bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking forward to it. Well, I really appreciate.
Can you want to give your Twitter handle?
Yeah, sure. It's Pulse Academy, PLS_Academy.
I'll drop it.
And go ahead and follow. I'll be putting all the updates up there. Like I said, open invitation to community leaders if they want to jump on the board itself of the charity. You both are welcome to join this if you like. I understand it does come with responsibilities, but like I said, we have an open invitation for other community members to share in the actual control of the organization itself.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna dive into this, man. Like as we go, I'll be DMing you. We could do a lot of work together in the future. We have this is the earliest.
Yes,
it's early.
Once we go viral,
we're still early, guys. So what are all the smart guys do? Well, I don't want to say smart, but you know what I mean? Entrepreneurial minded guys are doing, setting themselves up for an adoption curve that will be there without them or not. Me and Sam and Pulse Academy, we understand that. If we were sitting on the sidelines, this would occur.
Yes.
And he knows that. He's not saying I'm recreating the wheel. He's saying, let's get this. Let's make it work. Let's start this off now because 3% of the world's using crypto, and soon 50% will be using crypto. Or you know how things go.
Those people are going to need education.
And guys, hey, Pulse Academy, dude, great chatting with you, bro. Awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. It was an utter pleasure, and looking forward to the next chat.
Yes, yeah, man. Me too. Be in my DMs if you ever have an update, and I'll be in yours, bro. Have a great day.
Awesome. You too. Take care. Bye, everyone. God bless.
Yes, dude. That was awesome.
I was glad that he was there.
Yes, no respect because
mad respect.
We have had other people on that didn't want to share their face, who also there's things that I wasn't super fond of this that we've talked about before, and in terms of projects, and I would definitely not be even. Just doesn't interest me even in the slightest bit. And something that is trying to tackle such a big problem is awesome. Like somebody that is trying to really move things forward. And it was also cool that he's like, created an organization to help, his homeless kids back in college. Like that's
That's
I mean,
a lot.
some people, yes, correct. And you see that it's not just like, hey, there's a money grab. Cause some people that we see, dude, are just trying to get it for the money. And when you see somebody who's like, hey, I've been trying to accomplish this, like, right. Like I was homeless.
And there's certain things you have to do to like do that. And you can kind of like figure them out. Like when people are front running, and I'm not saying a lot of projects fail with good intention. So that's just is what it is. But when a lot of projects are front running, you see similar actions because they can't leverage certain things. So they have to regurgitate this little like sales pitch. And I'm just guys, I'm very social. I noticed that they say the same kind of things. They're like, this is the reason I can't do this. This is the reason. And then it almost becomes a pitch that other people learn. And then it's like, oh, guys, hold on a second. Before you put your camera on, we could just duct tape a token to this and just fucking go to fucking Tijuana. Shut the door.
And if you guys are like interested in or understand that the education space is utterly fucking failed, and the Pulse Academy is super open to feedback and ideas, and I'm sure would love a fucking help in the journey, because that's a big thing to do. Not saying that anybody like should take anything and do anything with their money, but just even like using these skills and resources that you have as a human that has gone through the life and has had time in this thing called human body, right? Like sharing that with other people is valuable, right? And in some ways to help in different ways. So I think this is one of the early stage, but something that is very, very interesting. And I'd love to see how they progress. And
so we're going to be watching that. That's one that we'll cover because me and Stanley, I don't care what anyone says. I've always been considered a coach and a teacher to some degree to some people in my life. That's kind of how I am. Like if somebody wants information from me, which is rare because people don't, people.
But not so much. I mean, you get DMs every day, bro.
Well, I know, and I do now, but I mean, in general, like, well, now I present myself as on the line, but like before, like even like when people wanted to learn stuff, if someone was excited about something, and there's a lot of stuff that me and Sam have gone through in this life that many don't need to replicate. That, you know what I mean, Sam? Like there's a couple things that maybe we did that we can teach you about that maybe you don't have to actually do.
You don't have to fuck up the same way we fucked.
Exactly. And it was fun at the time. You learn your life, but like if you want to have a good, happy life, me and Sam were trying it in a lot of different ways too before, in a lot of ways that didn't necessarily work for us, but we evolved, we changed. We wanted it to have lots of feelings, I guess. Like we wanted to experience stuff. And I think every stop of the way, it's just like you learn that if you go down this path, you'll stop experiencing stuff. If you go down this banking path, you'll probably stop experiencing as much as you could. And this is like, now we're just in like experience overload mode all day long. And it's amazing. It's just, this is exactly what I wanted. And this is where the world's going. The smart guys they're just lining up, it's just the 5%. And I'm under the impression, although it seems kind of malice and rude, that 5% of people will understand crypto and everyone else will get wrecked no matter what happens, because it's just like go to any country, go to the slums, check it out.
Did you know CZ, the founder of Binance, for anybody who's not aware of that, and also created the BNB chain. And they also invest in other centralized exchanges. I just listened to an awesome podcast by him, just trying to understand more perspective of people in the industry. And you had mentioned 5% of people paying attention, or really 5% of people truly kind of understanding.
Yeah.
And he was saying that that's why they are in such a good position, because he's been in crypto for a long time. And now my light's flickering because it's like, yeah, Sam's talking about the shit.
What if some fucking god just came up behind you? But
he was saying that that's why their position is such a good, because they're not going to get wrecked during this bear market. Because he even mentioned in the podcast, which I thought was super fascinating, and gave me a different perspective on this, because this is not the traditional view, that having in the crypto space, having like 10 years of like a runway in terms of cash reserve, which seems excessive. If you think of like crypto has been out for 13, 14 years, right? That seems excessive. But running an organization of that size and he's also going through and expanding. They're hiring 2,000 people. What is Coinbase doing? Laying people off. Who do you think wins when you come out of a recession? When one
They're not
company-
laying people off. They're
Shut
fucking they're exit scamming. Like, for real. I don't know where he went. His earbuds probably ran out of batteries. But yeah, they're not even like, it's not a joke, guys. Like, these industries were making so much money, and then they form around the idea that they'll only make more money. Blockbuster, everything. It's just how things work. Blockbuster thought that when video games started getting really popular, that they would be the place where you rent video games. Whoops. Didn't work because its technology moved too fast past it. They couldn't keep up. They didn't have enough marketing, ingenuity. They were already stuck in stone. There was no flexibility. If their stores were all sitting there, it was too brick and mortar. It was too stuck. It couldn't move. It wasn't plastic enough. Now companies can change. If my YouTube channel goes down, I'm going to DM 3 guys and say, hey, can I do crypto in the morning on your channel until my YouTube channel comes back? You can't stop it. Before you could stop it, it can't be stopped anymore. Technology it's like, you know what I mean? I could just say, okay, my channel goes down. Say, oh, guys, before I get my channel back, probably 2 weeks or whatever, I'm really sorry. I wish this didn't happen. Can we just do this on your 3 channels for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll just proceed on my channel when it's over? And they wouldn't even have to do anything. I would just have to click the button, and it would stream on their channel. They'd say, hey, sorry about your channel.
And it would Test Your Levels just had his channel deleted.
Well, exactly. That's why networking is so important. Nobody in this community would let me fail at this point because they know my intentions are good when it comes to this stuff. So without asking them for money, if I was like, hey guys, I need your help because this seriously happened. But remember when I was talking to Test Your Levels about how I think he should start talking? Like, I was like, dude, I think you should get more involved. You should be like doubling down on this advertising for this channel, more talking to more people. If that dude was talking to me every day, that shit would be running on my channel. You know what I mean? And it's not, no offense on him. He's just different. I don't even know the guy. I was just talking on my feet. But like in general, I know like everything that I do today will be superseded by the people that I meet and interact with that like me today. So it's like I can do whatever click in it's want. But it's like I got guys in here that trust me, and I've showed up 100 days in a row and let them know that I'm not going anywhere. And that's just like a little handshake, It's like meeting a friend. And that I help them, they help me. And blah, blah, blah. So I just think that technology is getting to that point where it's like, I just need people. Like, I just need people to know what's up with me, what I'm going for, what's in. I don't care if I have 100,000 people or 1,000 people. It's like, that's the way for scaling for me, I think.
Building those relationships is so incredibly important. This is what I did this morning and what I'm shifting for the month of July in terms of my schedule. So normally I would get up and I'll do research in crypto, and then I'll film a video first thing in the morning, somewhere between 5 something and 6 and early 6 a.m. ish. Get up and then I'll get take my shit and get started on my work until 8:30 or so. Go to the gym, then get on here, right? And I decided to shift for the month of July, given my goals, so that first 2 hours in the morning, when you have the most amount of
is that true?
Fresh. You have yes.
I always thought that was just me. Like I was always just like, dude, I'm just a morning guy. Like
they did research on this. So they did research on this related because your brain actually uses a tremendous amount of glucose, and so they Wow. I don't remember the specific layout of the study, but one of the studies related to this was they gave people like time to rest versus people who not time to rest. And those people who did not have time to rest had lower willpower. If the most important thing in the morning truly needs to get done first thing in the morning, then I need to shift what I am doing to not be doing the research and filming a crypto video first thing in the morning, to focus that time and focus on my business. You were talking about building relationships, to focus on that time from 6 a.m. until 8:30-ish to building more relationships with people, because those are the people who are going to help you be successful, who are going to do business with you, who are going to do like businesses with you, like create businesses and all that kind of thing. So
and when you do stuff like answer every YouTube, just for an example, like one thing that I make sure that I do, everyone has different shit. I fuck up on a million things too, so it's not exclusive to anything. But I answer and read every single one of my YouTube comments. You know what I mean? So, and I answer them and I read it and I answer it back with something that is interactive of sorts. Like I like to show that I read what they, and it, a lot of the time that's where I get some of my best feedback, but people realize that I'm sitting there. So in their head, they're like, this man is sitting here. I don't have a name. I don't have a face. He's answering me. He's interacting. He is proud of what he's doing. He is taking, you know, it's just a whole thing. It's about showing up. I had to have a conversation with my girl yesterday about showing up late. and I just, you know, I just told her, I said, it's not about being late. It's about your words meaning what they come out of them. And I'm never late. I may be like not show up for the show like fucking 30 minutes early on occasion, because like last night I drank all day long. I mean, I drank like 5 beers, but like, you know what I mean? But I would be hysterically, neurotically broken if this show was to go on and I did not answer or say something or DM somebody, or, you know what I mean? It's just like, means so much.
You touched on something that's super important that I actually had. It's funny you say this, because I had this a similar conversation with my girlfriend this morning around the power of the language that you use. Because if I'm using specific language, then whether you agree with it or don't, or think it's false, it's coming out of my mind, which means that I believe that, because that's the vernacular. Those are the words that I'm choosing to describe something. So understanding how people think, that's why I like to ask questions, to understand how people think. And so the point of it was, I had messaged, what's up, Money Gang? How you doing, bro? I got to get back to your message. I would like to collaborate, but you're muted. The point was, though, I had said something about, hey, babe, I appreciate you. And one of the things that I've noticed is that my attraction to you, towards you, has grown over the last couple of years. And then she had said something along the lines like, yeah, you have been created it so it's more, I'm more attracted to you, or something like that. But the way that you use the words to describe your situation, whether you recognize it or not, is putting a subtle shift in the responsibility in your relationship. When I talk to people, and if you listen to how they describe things or talk about things, the words that they use and how they use them to describe things, by the way she had mentioned it, and I don't give a shit, this is how her point of view had, the things that she believes about it, right? Where that it was something that I had done to be more attracted to the other person. Yes, cool, accurate statement. But because I'm so twisted and demented in about this, the way I describe it is that the reason I am more attracted to her is solely because of how I have changed things. And it's the subtle shifts about taking utter brutal fucking responsibility for every aspect.
Too. It's hard sometimes too. Like, not that being late shit, but like other shit, right? Like being responsible is not about being responsible enough that the other person thinks you're being responsible. You know what I mean? It's about being literally responsible and taking control over everything that you do. And if the person that you're with don't like that noise, then you got to find someone else. If you're anything like me, and I tell her that, you know, like.
But what helps her, so my girlfriend, but will also help you in how I see the world is by me being the man, right? Me being the leader of my life, me doing me. And if we do butt heads, whose fault is that? That's my fault. And recognizing that, so that the communication breakdown on who? Me. This is a mirror, right? It's my fucking fault when that shit happens. And that's what I told her 5 years ago. It was like, I'm going to do me 100% of the time, because I know that's the right thing to do to reach my goals. And if I'm not going after what I fucking want in life, how am I possibly going to be fucking fulfilled in my relationship with you? There's no effing way. And by me doing that, it allows people to have freedom to do what they need to do in their own life, to take care of their own life. Because I don't give a shit what they do. I'm going to continue doing my shit, period, right? And having that conversation allows her the space to grow, to do it. And I'm fucking getting better every day. That's all I want to do is just get better in everything that I do. So when I take that approach,
and people and cute girls don't get called out too much, so it throws them off a little bit too. Like, and this is just reality. So when a girl that's attractive gets told something from someone in a direct way, it's odd to them because they're not used to it. They're used to guys pandering to them, and they're used to guys wondering, what can I do to make your life better, because I don't even know you and I just love you because you're hot. And when you tell a girl, it's like, if you're late again, like, I don't want you to show up, then it's just, they're just like, what? Like, and then, they feel your masculine presence and they like that. And then they learn, but you have to do it in a nice way. Of course, you don't want to be rude. Like, you don't want to be, I told her the same thing about making food. I was like, how many times I make you food in the last 60 days? It's like 10. And I was like, how many times you made me food in the last 60 days?
Be careful with that, though.
No, and I know. And I just said every once in a while. And all I said was every once in a while. I don't want her to be my cook or nothing.
No, yes, correct.
I said every once in a while. Like, if you could, like, it just makes me happy. That's all I said.
Yes.
It makes me happy when you make me dinner. It makes me feel special. That's what I said. And I like making her dinner too. So that
exactly.
Twisted on that. Like, I like grilling and I like making food for people. So that's something that I do. I wasn't like, I make food and you must make food. I was just like, I like when you make food. And then she was like, she made me food.
Yeah,
because it made me feel good.
And then like, so I don't like to personally think about the things that I have done versus the things that she has done, because I don't find it a fruitful like exercise of my time to do that. But at the same time, if there are moments and there's things that I feel as I go through and do that, whether it's say I make X number of meals and she makes X number of meals minus X, whatever. It's the articulation of the feelings and the emotions behind that, which a lot of dudes I feel like have. It's not something that we're trained. It's not something we're taught. It's not something that comes like it's a different place. So if I'm doing these things, I'm explaining that the reason I'm doing these is because I want to do these things, right? And then if it is something she's doing, I'm making abundantly clear that I not in the superficial like, oh, I appreciate this shit, you know what I mean? But like truly trying to go a step further, because I know that's going to allow me to grow further. It's allowed me to advance. And who's the most important person? Not her. It's me. And everybody has it fucking backwards in the relationships. Like,
yeah, it's like, if you want me to be a leader, don't you? You know what I mean? Like, it's like girls want a leader, but they don't trust that you are one until you are one. It's a weird little nuanced situation as you get older in relationships. But like, as we talk more about education, like that is a part of education. It is important to know like what makes a successful relationship. I didn't learn those things overnight. It took me forever and I still suck at it. So it's just like, you just learn like what makes you happy, what doesn't, what do you do over and over again. But the media wants you to pay for shit. They want you to buy. There's nothing to buy here. We're talking about respect. We're talking about communication. We're talking about eating. We all eat. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's nothing to buy. I'm not marketing you anything except success. I'm not marketing you anything except feeling fulfilled, because I know that's more beneficial to me, that I have a bunch of people that are feeling positive and fulfilled that have a bunch of money while I'm talking about a similar subject to them. It's just a better value prop. It's a better value prop for everyone. The truth is, like, in order to be happy, like if you're wondering right now, like, how do I be happy? Like, you got a long way to go. Like, and it's about being happy in your own skin, because you felt so, your ideas get so morphed over time, because you're like, I don't really know anything. This is all up to me now. Like, you learn that I can't listen to everyone else. You just have to make the world a better place yourself. And that's kind of the world we're moving into right now, because the value proposition of legacy and school has just gone to zero.
100%, dude. This actually might be a perfect time to wrap things up. Like, we've covered some very heady, good stuff. We got an awesome conversation with Pulse Academy. Excited to see what they build as they progress and how that moves forwards. If they come out with a course in Solidity, I would actually take that course, right? Like I would love to learn how to code so that I can have more intelligent conversations with developers and also network with other developers who, if bringing in, he mentioned LinkedIn. So if there's a way to bring in the course so that there's a social piece of it and you can interact with other humans, oh, that would be super valuable, right? Because that's one of the most valuable things about the education system is the network has nothing to do with the crap that's actually in school. It has to do with the relationships that you build in school, the relationships that you cultivate as you end up finishing school and then move forward from school, right? That's the super, super important part. Do you have anything else you want to mention here? You guys can check out some awesome links down below.
Awesome links below, guys. Everything you need. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We do it all. I have been totally not on TikTok, but my TikTok's actually like, it's in a position that when things start moving again, I'll probably jump on that. But it's just not value-wise. I just don't care at this moment. If you want to donate to the channel, guys, you know your boy could use anything to help keep the channel moving. I will be here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, not much today. Beginning of the week, I got to double down on some life shit today, get it all done so that I can focus on the week ahead. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to have a good week, and I'm going to get big sleep all night.
Yes, from the debauchery that you went through last night. I'm sure that was
it was debauchery last night, and me and my girl were having like philosophical conversations in the middle of the night, and then she woke up sleeping on the couch. So I was like, I must have been saying some dumbass shit. It's like, whatever I said last night, please forgive me. But yeah, no, we had a lot of fun. The parade was insanity. Like I'd never seen, like, I mean, wow, people everywhere in the streets. In my city, when it's 4th of July, you can't get arrested. Like for whatever reason, it's just like no arrest day. Everyone drinks in the streets and just does whatever they want. And it's just like that one day because our city where I am at is like small enough, I guess still. So it was really fun. I had a good time. You know me, I was bucking it the whole time. I was kind of wanted to stay at my computer, and it ended up being a good time. I spent very little money because it was more so just like walking around. Good times, guys. Good parade, brah. Yeah, it was a good parade. And there was people DMing me saying they were there too. I was like, you're sketching me out. Guys, have a great day. We're going to be all over everything as we go forward in the next, forever. Let's go. DeFi proof, 2 minutes and 2 seconds, guys. We're going to be here every day, baby. We don't let up, baby. I don't care about the views, the viz. I want to learn. I want to get better. I want to position myself. So I know the channel's big enough now where it's like, I just want to get better and figure out what I'm doing to portray the best message possible in the most sustainable way. And that's what I'm working on, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Heart. Richard Heart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. .1 every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out and get me a check. He's gas up and got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hit restart. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart.